Hi everyone, welcome back to the Programming Fields. I'm Umesh Rana. If you have been following along with our Laravel 12 plus Livewire Starter Kit series, you know we have already built some solid foundations from setting up our starter kit, creating CRUD operations to integrating beautiful UI components with Flux, and alongside the Livewire data table integration. But now it is time to integrate the Quill editor. And this is not the boring default setup, but the ultimate version in which we will cover image uploads, video embeds, toolbar customizations, and a seamless create, view, edit workflow. And by the end of this video, you will have a rich text editor that looks and feels pro, which will be ready to take your blogs, articles, or any formatted content to the next level. So let's dive in and make it happen. So I already have Laravel 12 plus Livewire Starter Kit series, in which we already created this project management CRUD. So in this video, I will be continuing with the same project setup. So initially we have to set up the QuillJS. So I will navigate to its official documentation, and in the browser, I will search for QuillJS. Here we have the official documentation of quill.js. Let's navigate inside this. Here we have landed on the homepage. We have the QuillJS version. So this is the latest version as of now, 2.0. And here we have this documentation link. Let's navigate inside this and let me zoom in. Okay. Here we have the quick start guide. So this provides the option to integrate the QuillJS using CDN as well. Also, if you need, you can go with this installation steps. Inside the installation, we have the different way, just like CDN. We have the core build. Okay. And we have this NPM as well. So you can follow the steps as per your need. Currently, I'm going to integrate this using CDN. So in order to integrate this, firstly, I'll create a Livewire component. Currently, I have this project's management CRUD in which I have the project listing, create, view, update and delete functionality, including this Livewire data table. But for integrating the QuillJS, I want to create a fresh Livewire component. So I will navigate to the terminal and I will duplicate this. Now inside the project folder, I will create a fresh Livewire component. So I will type php artisan livewire make and I will provide the component name. So I will give the component name as post form. I will hit enter and yes, the component has been created. Now let's navigate to the code editor and inside the app Livewire, here we have this post form. Now inside this post form class, this is rendering the component blade. Now let's navigate inside this Livewire post form and here we have to integrate the QuillJS. So I will create a basic form for creating and managing the blog post in which I will integrate the QuillJS editor. And for creating and managing the form, I will be using Flux UI components and that we have already integrated in our previous video. So here for the project management, we have this pop-up and inside this we have used this Flux UI components. So I will simply copy the layout from this model and for that we have this projects form model blade. Now let me just copy this entire code and I will paste it inside this post form blade. Now for the today's setup, I don't want to go with the Flux model. So I will remove this Flux model component. Okay, now inside this form, let's do some customization. So let me dock this sidebar first. And here I will quickly update the title. So I will remove this condition and I will change the title to create blog post. And the description, add a new blog post using the form below. Now inside this form, I want to keep two fields like post title. So this will be post title and I will change the condition here. So let's remove this is view. This is not needed as of now. And the label will be post title, enter post title. Now next we need the content. So for creating the content, we will be using QuillJS. And for integrating the QuillJS, let's check out the documentation. So here firstly we have to copy this CDN. This is QuillJS and this is Quill CSS. Firstly let's copy this Quill Snow CSS And let's navigate to the code editor. Now just above the form, I will create one div so that we will have one parent element, and I will set min height to screen. Now just inside this div, I will paste that CSS, okay? Because as of now, I'm not going to integrate for global. I'm just using for this single component. So this is Quill CSS. Now just after closing this form, here we have to close this div, and just above this div, we have to add this Quill script. So let's copy this script from here, and I will just paste it inside this. Now just above this script, I will be using Laravel push directive. Inside this push directive, I will pass scripts, and here I will close this and push. Now in between the scripts, I can add custom scripts here because we will be needing the custom scripts to customize the QuillJS editor. Now before proceeding further, let's customize this form. So I will remove this deadline, status, project logo. These are not required. Only we need post title, description, and submit button. So I will remove this Flux component, and this title will be save. Okay, this is done. And here inside this text area, I will remove this disabled condition. Now in the next step, we have to render this Livewire component. So in order to render this component, we will have to link this component in the sidebar. And for that, we will be needing one route. So let's create one route inside web.php file. So just below this project's route, I will create one route as route : get. And inside this, I will add the endpoint as posts/create. And this will call the Livewire component, which is post form. Okay, we can specify the route name as post form. Now let's import this post form component. This has imported. Now in order to link this component in the sidebar, we have to navigate to the sidebar component. So let's search for sidebar, and inside this sidebar, just below this projects menu, I will add one more menu. So I will duplicate this menu here, and I will change this to post, and the route will be posts.form. If the route is posts.form, then this will be active. Now if we'll check out the browser, inside the application, here we have the post menu added. If we'll click on this, yes, we have a form ready, including title and description. Now instead of this text area, we have to integrate the Quill Text Editor. So for initializing the Quill Text Editor, here we have the quick guide. So inside the quick start, we have to integrate it using this snippet. So I will copy this div from here. I will navigate to the code editor, and inside this post form, instead of this text area, I will create one div. So I will paste that div snippet, and I will remove these paragraph elements from here. Only I will keep this empty div, and this has ID as editor. And we have to initialize the Quill editor using this ID. So here we have this snippet. Let's copy this, and let's come under this script section. So just below this CDN, I will create one custom script, and in between this script, I will paste that snippet. Now we have to inject this script in our main blade, which is sidebar blade. So at the bottom side, here we have this Flux script included, and this is slot for rendering all the child component. So just after this Flux scripts, I will be using stack directive, and inside this, I will pass the key as scripts, because in the post form, we have already added this key as scripts here inside push directive. So this is done. Now if we'll check out the browser, yes, here we have the Quill Text Editor integrated. Here we can set a minimum height to this text editor. So for that, I will add custom style here. So I will set a style min height 200 pixel, This has reflected now. Now in the next step, we need a table and model. So I will create this for post table. So inside the terminal, I will create a model and migration to save the post. Make model, and I will specify the model name as post. Alongside this model, I need migration. Now let's hit enter. And yes, this has created post model and migrations. Now let's customize the migration for this post tables. So inside the database, migrations, here we have the posts table. Now respective to this form inputs, we have to add the field here like table string, and this will be post title. I will set default to nullable, and also we have the description. So for that, I will keep it as text. This will be description. I will set this to nullable as well. Now respective to this migration, we have to add the fillable property in the post model. So let's check out the post model. And here inside this model, I will add fillable property using protected fillable, and we have the fields like title and description. Okay. Now in the next step, let's migrate this schema. So inside the terminal, let's type php artisan migrate command. Yes, the post table has been dumped inside the database. Now let's work on the submit functionality of this post form. So inside the form, here we have the submit handler. So let's change this to save post. And here we have to capture the form inputs. So for the post title, I will change this wire model binding to title. And regarding the description, we have used QuillJS. So QuillJS does not allow to bind the input using Livewire. So we will send the data using JS. So in the script section, I will initialize this Quill editor inside Livewire event. So I will use document.add event listener. And inside this, I will use Livewire navigated event. So when Livewire component will be loaded, this will have this QuillJS instance. Now inside this, I will move this QuillJS initialization. Now instead of this const quill, I will define the QuillJS just above this so that we can use that as global. So I will define it using let quill. And firstly, I will customize the toolbar here. So in the toolbar, we can see we don't have the image upload, video embed, and other toolbar options. For that, the QuillJS provides customization in the toolbar. So inside the documentation, here we have the modules. Inside this, we have the toolbar. So inside the toolbar, we have the different option. We have the toolbar options. Inside this, we can pass the attributes. Also, we can customize the entire containers using this. So let's copy this toolbar options till here. And let's navigate to the code editor. And just above this initiation, here I will paste that. Let me align this. And we have to pass this toolbar options inside the QuillJS instantiation. So for passing this, we have to pass this in the form of object. So if we'll check the documentation, here we have the modules. Okay. And inside the modules object, we have the toolbar and we have to pass the toolbar options. So let's define this. So just above this theme, I will be using modules. Okay. And inside the modules, I will have to add toolbar. And inside this object, I will create one container because later we have to handle the image upload. So if we'll go with adding this toolbar options directly, we won't be able to handle the event of that image. So better I will keep it inside container. And inside this, I will add the toolbar option. Now inside this toolbar options, if we'll check, we have the font for bold, italic, underline. So let's navigate to the browser in order to see the changes. Yes, here this has added these all toolbar options. Now we can arrange this according to our need. So currently for the heading, this has added H1 and H2. So I want this to be rendered as a drop down so that we will be able to select those options easily. So inside the code editor, here we have the header. So instead of adding multiple objects for the header, I will keep the single header. So inside the header, I will create one array just like this. And inside this array, I will pass the headers. So we have the header from 1 to 6. So we can specify the key as 1 to 6 just like this. And default, this will be false. Okay. Now we can remove this object from here. This is not needed. And let's close this array just like this. Now if we'll check the result, yes, here we have the heading from H1 to H6. Now let's arrange this as per the need. So I want this heading to be displayed here as a first option. So I will keep this heading at the top. Further, we will have this bold, italic and underline things. Next, we have this block quote. Okay. And regarding this link, image and video things, I will remove it from here and I will paste it at the bottom side. So here, just before this clean, I will paste it. Now here, next we have this list. So in the list, we have this ordered, bullet and check. Further, we have this subscript, superscript, indentation, text direction. We have this custom dropdown for the size, small, large and huge. And I will remove this header from here. We can pass the color code here in order to change the color. So inside the color attribute, if I want to set the color code like 000, and if we'll check, here this has added the color attribute as black. If you want, you can pass in the string format as well, just like red. Here we have the red color available. So by using this way, you can pass the color code. Same thing for the background. I will pass black, red, yellow, orange, etc. Okay. Here you can pass the font family. If you want to set the custom fonts, you can pass the font name here. You can set the alignment. So we have this alignment. And lastly, we have this link, image and this video embed. So this is a basic customization. If you want, you can align it according to your need. Next, we have to work on the submit handler. So when we will submit the form, we have to capture this text editor data. So firstly, inside the post form, here I will define two properties, which will be public $title. Next, we have this public $description. Also, we have to define one submit handler function, which will be public function. And we have the submit handler as save post. Now, in order to check the title and description, let's put dump and die $this, title $this, description. So as of now, from the Livewire, we have bound this title, but we have not bound this description. So as of now, we will be getting title only. So let's bind this description from this form. So in the script side here, just after this, I will be using text change event. So I will type quill.on text change event. And inside this anonymous function, I will bind this editor. So I will set using @this.set. And from here, I will pass the description. So I will set the key as description. And inside the description, I will pass the text of quill.root.innerHTML. So in the inner HTML, we will have the written content. Now if we'll navigate to the browser and if we'll refresh, let's add the title and description. But here, when I tried typing something inside the description, that got disappeared. Why? Because this is overlapping the DOM property of QuillJS. So we have to ignore that. So inside the editor, here in the parent div, we'll have to add wire ignore directive. This will solve this issue. Now if we'll check, let's add title, description. Yes, now we are able to type inside this text editor. Now let's select this and I will change this to heading, and let's try to submit this post. On submit, yes, we are able to get the title and description, and this description is in the HTML format. So we are able to get the data from the form. Now we have to apply the form validation here. So inside the post form class, just above this title, so let's add validate, and inside this function, I will pass the rule as required. Minimum, I will set this to 5. And let's import this validate attribute. Same thing for the description. I will use validate, and I will keep this required. Now here in the save post function, we have to call $this validate function. Now after validating the data, let's submit this form. So I will capture the validated form data, and here I will put dump and die $this validated data. Let's enter the title, description, and if we'll submit, yes, we are getting the title and description in the form of array. Now let's submit this form. So after this, I will import the post model directly here, and I will use create function. Let's import this post model. This is done. And after creating the post, I will reset the form. So I will use $this reset. So this will clear this first form input, which is post title, but this won't be able to clear the Quill editor because the Quill editor is not directly bound with Livewire form. We are passing the data from the JS side. So for that, we will have to dispatch one event from here, and based on the event, I will reset the Quill editor. So I will write $this dispatch, and I will set one event here as clear Quill. Now let's capture this event here in the form. So in the script side, just after this, here we will reset Quill editor. So I will listen that event here using window.add event listener function. Inside this, we have the event as clear Quill. So let's copy this event name, and I will add it here, and let's capture the event. Now inside this event, I will check if we have Quill instance, then only this will clear that. So I will use quill.root.innerHTML, this one, equals event.detail, and I will set this to null. Now if we'll check the form, let's try to submit this post. So I will add post title, and here I will set post description. I will make it heading 2. I will enter the new line, title for the blog post using Quill editor. I will click on save post, and yes, the post has been saved. And if we'll check out the database, we have the database.sqlite, and I will navigate to the post table. Yeah, we have the post created with this title and description. If we'll check the description, here we have the description saved in the HTML format. And after saving the post, this form got cleared. So this worked. Now we have to work on the image upload. So as of now, if we'll try to upload the image from here, this will open the image. Okay. But if we'll save this image, this will convert the image into base64 format. And based on the image size, this will increase the length of the base64 converted text. So this is not an ideal way to store the image in this way. If we'll try to save the image, post with image. Okay, this got saved. But if we'll check the database, here we can see this has converted the image into base64 format. And if we'll check the length of this, here we have the length of this image. This is very lengthy. Okay. So this will kill the memory in the database if you are uploading large image using this way. So better we will upload the image in the Livewire way, and that will be stored here in the database. So for that, let's handle the image. So inside this Quill instance, after this toolbar, here I will add handlers. So this provides handlers event. From here we can handle the event. So we have to handle the image upload event. So for that I will be using a callback function, and inside this we have to process the image. So for that I will create one function as select local image, just like this. And let's define this function just below this function. So I will create one function as select local image. Now inside this function, we have to capture the image. So firstly, what I want from the Quill editor, I will pick the image and I will set this to hidden input field. So I will create one variable as const input, and I will create one hidden input using document.createElement, and this will create the input. Now inside the input, I will set the attribute as input.setAttribute. The type will be file, and we can set the attribute like accept. So this will accept the image. Okay. And next, I will click the input when I'll select the image. Now further, based on that input change, I will process the image. So I will get the file from this input. So I will capture this in a variable as file, and I will get the first file using this input.files of the first index. Now I will check if we have the file, then I will upload that. So for uploading the image, I will define one more function as upload image, and inside this I will pass this current file. Now just after this function, I will define this function as function upload image, and I will capture the file. This function is for uploading the image, and this is for capturing the image from Quill editor. Now we have to send the image from here to the server side using form data. So I will create one instance of form data, and I will initialize it using form data, just like this. Now in the form data, I will append the image. So I will write form data.append function, and I will append the image, and I will pass the file. Now from here, I will make one AJAX request to the server side, so that when we will select any image in the Quill editor, that will send the file at the server side, and from the server side, that will store the image in the storage folder. And from there, we will return the image path, and using that image path, we will render the image in the Quill editor. And when we'll submit the form, we will have the file path only, not the entire image to be saved into the database. So I will make one AJAX call using fetch function, and inside this, I will pass one route to process and upload the image. So I will write livewire.upload image. This will be our route, and just after this, I will specify the method as post, and I will pass the headers as well. So in the headers, we have to pass the CSRF token because we are making AJAX call using post method. So in the headers, I will pass dash CSRF dash token, and in the CSRF token, I will be using CSRF token helper function. Now in the body, we have to pass the form data, and then we will process this. So I will be using .then. We have to capture the response, and I will convert the response in the JSON. So we'll write response.json function, and then I will get the result after processing that. So after getting the image path from server side, we have to render that image in the Quill editor. So I will render it using quill.getSelection function, so that this will return the range of that selected image, and I will store it in a variable as range. Now inside this, I will embed the image. So I will use quill.insert embed function, and inside this, I will pass the range.index so that this can store the image at the same position. And here we have to get the image, and this will be coming from result.url. So in this AJAX response, I will return the URL of the uploaded image. Next, if we have any error, then I will catch using error block. So I will write error and I will console the error, console.error. Okay, this is done. And we can keep these all functions outside the main Livewire navigated. So let me just cut this closing from here. And I will close it just after this. Okay, this is done. Now based on this specified route, we have to define it inside web.php. So let's copy this route endpoint, and inside the web.php, just after this route, I will create one post route. Okay. And we have this endpoint Livewire upload image, and we have to create one controller in order to handle this file. So I will create one controller, PHP artisan make controller post controller. And let's comment this line first. This is not completed. Now let's try creating post controller. Okay. Now after creating the post controller, let's inject that post controller here, because the file is going to be uploaded outside this Livewire component. So let's define one method as upload image, and I will give the name as livewire.upload image. This name is same as we have defined here in the route. So this is livewire.upload image. Let's copy this function and navigate to the post controller. Inside this, let's define the function as upload image. Here let's capture the request. Now inside this function, firstly let's validate the image. So I will write request validate function, and inside this validate function, we have to validate the incoming file, which will be image key. So inside the post form, we are sending the form data as image. So let's validate this image inside this. So this should be required. And if it is coming, then we have to check image, and I will allow max 2048, which will be 2 MB. You can increase this as per the need. And next we have to upload this image in the storage folder. So I will use request file function, and from this file, I will get the image. Now I will store that image using a store function, and I will create one directory as posts, and this directory will be created inside public, and I will capture the path of this uploaded image. Now from here, I will return the response in the JSON. So we will write response JSON, and inside this JSON, we need the path of this image in the key as URL, because we already captured this result.url here. So let's return this URL. This will be key, and inside this value, I will return this path. So instead of returning this path in the normal string, let's convert this in the storage URL. So we will be using a storage facade URL function. So based on the given path, this will create one URL of that file path. Let's import this storage facade here. Now let's navigate to the browser, and here let's try to upload the image. And if we try to select the image, here we are not able to see that. Let's check the console. I think we have some error. Let's check again. We have some server side error. Okay, this said post controller does not exist. So in the route, we have to import this post controller. Now let's refresh once again, and let's try to upload the image. Yes, the selected image has been shown here. Let me try selecting different image. Yes. Now if we'll try to submit this form, so I will enter the title, post with another image, and I will submit this form. Yes, this has uploaded the image, and if we'll check the database, yes, here we can see. Now this time we have the image element stored in this format. We have this storage path, storage, posts, and we have the URL of that uploaded image instead of entire base 64 conversion. So this will save the memory, and this is the best approach to store the image in the Quill editor. So this is working. Now we have to render this post in order to work with edit and view functionality, so that we will get to know how to populate the data over this Quill text editor. So what I will do, I will create one more component for the post listing. So let's create one more component quickly inside the terminal. Let me clear this. And I will create one more component as post list. Okay, the component has been created. So inside the component blade, I need one button. From there, I will redirect to this post form. And also I need one table layout in which we will have some list of posts. So let's create the post table design from the previous component. So we have this views, Livewire. Inside the projects, we have this index component. So inside this index, we have this div having button, add project, and this table. So let's copy this one by one. So inside this post list, let's add this. And here I will add the table for the listing. So let's copy this table and I will paste it here. This is done. Let me collapse this and let's quickly update the table listing and this button. So I will update the title as posts management. Create and manage your blog posts. This will be add post, and instead of flux model, I will render this in a normal way. So I will remove this wire click. This is not going to open this model. I will use href, and in the href, I will pass the route as posts.form. And in the listing, here I will change the column as ID. This will be title, and we have this description. So in the listing, I don't want to display the description. Instead, I will keep ID and title only alongside the action buttons. And here we will have the posts as post, and let's quickly update the post ID. We will have the post title, and let's remove the other columns. These are not needed. Only we need this action button. Also for the action buttons, we don't need this model trigger. So I will remove these all, and I will remove this delete button. Only we will be working on view and edit functionality, because that is a part of Quill text editor. And instead of this wire click, I will be using href. So I will use href and I will add route, and I will open the same route as post.form, because we have to open the same form for rendering the data over there, whether it is view or edit mode. Here we only differentiate based on the key. So I will pass key as mode, and this will be view mode. Alongside, I will pass the post data, which will be post ID. So I will be using route model binding for this. The same thing for the edit. Let's copy this href. Let's remove this wire click, and here in the mode, I will pass edit. Now we have to define this route. So instead of this post.form, we can give a unique name to the route as post.detail, and let's define this route inside web.php. So after this post create, I will create one more route as route : get, and this will be posts / and we have to capture the parameter as mode, and also the post ID, which will be post model basically. So this will be route model binding, and for this I will use post form class itself, which will be Livewire component, and I will give the name as posts.detail, and this will be trigger only for the edit and view mode. So we can add condition as where mode is view or edit. So we can add the condition in the route itself, just like this. Now based on this given parameter as mode and post ID, we have to receive this in the post form component. So for that, I will create mount function here, which will be public function mount. On mount, I will receive mode and post. Okay. This is mount for mounting the data, and this is for save post. This is done. Now here I will put dump and die mode and $post. Now let's navigate to this index component first, which will be post listing, because from there we have to list out the blog post. But before that, firstly we'll have to update the sidebar component. Previously in the sidebar component, we were rendering the post form directly, but instead of rendering the post form, we have to render the post listing. So here we have to create one more route for rendering that component. I will create one more get route here, route : get. This will be posts, and I will call the post list component, which is our Livewire component. Let's render this. Let's add the name as posts.index. These are posts route. Now let's copy this route name and let's link this in the sidebar. So instead of this post form, this will be index, and here this is posts. Okay. Now when we'll navigate to this post index component, we will have to fetch all the post data from the post model. So let's check out the post list component inside app Livewire. Here we have this post list. From here I will fetch the post data. So I will be applying pagination. So better we can write this in the render function itself. So I will add post : and I will use select function because I want a specified fields. So I want ID, title, and created at column, and also I will paginate it. So I will pass paginate 10, and I will capture this in a posts variable, and let's import this post model, and in the view I will pass this in the compact as posts. And here we have some issue for passing the parameter, and in the post form here we have the mode. So let's define this with null first. So let's land on this home page, and here we have this posts menu. We have this add post button, but the posts are not showing here. So inside this post list component, I will put dump and die posts, and yes, we are getting the data here. Now let's check this listing component. So we have added for else posts as post. Okay, we have this hidden class added. Let's remove this, and if we refresh, yes, we have the post ID, title, and action. We can render the date as well. So this is created at, and I will render the post created at, and I will format it using DMY. This is done. Now let's check the view and edit functionality. So if we'll click on view, we are getting mode as view and ID of that blog post. If we'll click on edit, yes, we are getting the mode as edit and ID as 1. But this is refreshing the page. So we will prevent that using wire navigate. So here in the button, I will use wire navigate attribute provided by Livewire. Let's add it for both. But we are getting the post ID. So here we will have to change this to post. Now we are getting the entire post object based on the selected ID. Now we have to render the data over the Quill Text Editor. So firstly, I will check if we have post. That means if it is view or edit mode, then we have to assign the post title in this public variable. So we have this public title, So this will be $this title, and I will get it from post title. Same thing for description. This will be from post description. And for populating the post data in the Quill Text Editor, directly we cannot render over there. So this can be done using JS itself. So again, we will dispatch one event from here, which will be populate Quill. Okay, you can give any name for this event. And in the event, I will pass one data as description, and this will be $this description. So this is event for populating data to the Quill editor. Okay. Also, if mode is view, then I will set view mode so that we can disable the Quill editor. So I will create one more variable here, which will be public view or is view. And by default, I will set this to false. And also I will define one more variable as post ID, just in order to differentiate view and edit mode. Okay, this is done. And I will set the value inside this post. So I will check $this is view. If we have mode view, if mode is view, then this will be true. And also I will set the post ID. So post ID will be $post ID. Now let's capture this event in the form side. So inside the blade, let's capture this event. So just above these functions, here I will populate the data into the Quill. So let's capture the event using window.add event listener. And we have the event as populate Quill. And let's create one callback function as event. And I will check if we have Quill instance. Then in the root, I will add root.innerHTML, and I will get it from event.detail.description, because we are passing one key. If it is there, then this will render, else it will be null. Else for the create mode, when we will switch from view or edit to create, I will reset that using set timeout function. So inside the set timeout, I will check if we have the Quill instance, then I will render the same thing using quill.root.innerHTML, and I will add event.detail.description. If it is there, then it will render, else it will render the empty string. And I will set the timeout as 300. This is done. And let's navigate to the browser. Let's refresh this. Yes, on edit mode, we have the post title and description rendered. Now if we'll navigate to the posts, if we'll check the second post with image, if we'll click on edit, and yes, this has rendered the image here. Let's go back and let's check for this third one. And yes, this has rendered the image. Now based on the given parameter, because we have set the post ID and mode is view, we can change the title of the post form. So that is up to you. I'm not going to update this. Okay. I've just shown the create view. In the view mode, we can disable this editor. So let's implement this. Let's navigate to this post form. And here in this Quill editor, this provides read-only attribute. So let's pass read-only, and this will accept true and false based on the condition. So we have the is view key, which is coming from Livewire, and that is defined as public. So we can get it directly using JSON attribute. And if it is view, then this will be read-only. Okay. If we'll check, yes, this description is in the view mode. Same thing we can apply for this post title. So here for the title, I will be using disable attribute, and this will be disabled in view mode. Also we can hide the button. So for the button, I will use href. This is for cancel, which will be redirecting to the post listing. So in the href, I will pass route posts.index, which will be wire navigate. And in the view mode, if not is view, then this will display this button. Now if we'll check, yes, we don't have this save button here, and this has changed to cancel. Also, you can update the title so that you can do it by yourself. Now if we'll click on cancel, yes, we are on the listing page. And that is how you integrate Quill Editor into your Laravel 12 plus Livewire Starter Kit project with a custom toolbar, image and video uploads, and a smooth create view edit flow. This builds directly on what we have covered in the last videos, and you now have a professional grade editor in your Livewire application, which is ready for blog posts, documentation, or any rich content needs. In our upcoming videos, we will be diving deeper into Laravel plus Livewire Starter Kit. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell icon. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, share it with your fellow developers, and let me know in the comments what feature you would like to see next. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and I will see you in the next video.